Medicine is dark a lot of the times. It's very fulfilling, but it can be very dark, especially if you practice in Nigeria, where the conditions for the doctors, for the patients, a lot of things are depressing, to be honest.
I'm a fourth year medical student, but now I'm living in a refugee camp. I should be studying at Al Azhar University, but it got bombed and life stopped.
Mental health is a topic of discussion for everyone, despite the age, race, or career. And for a career path revolving around human health, this topic is of utmost importance. It cannot be overemphasized on how important it is for you to have a stable mental health in order for you to flourish, especially after so many years of sacrificing not only your physical and mental health, but your sanity as well, in order to fulfill your dreams of saving lives, even though you're struggling to save yours in the process. In this video, I'll be sharing with you the 5 habits I had to drop in order to stabilize my mental health as a medical student. But before we get to the video, hi bandmates and to my new viewers, hi guys, I'm Abby, a student doctor based in Nigeria, currently in her 5th year of studies. Now that we're done with the formalities, let's jump straight into the video. The first thing I had to tackle in order to stabilize my mental health is I had to tackle hyper independence. Getting into medical school as a firstborn child, I had already accustomed myself to be very, very independent. If you're a firstborn child, you know that most of the time we tend to be very, very independent. But coming into med school, you need a lot of help if you really want to succeed, especially as a preclinical student or an aspiring medical student where you're really clueless about the system. You need to learn how to speak to people, to talk to people, ask people for help when you're going through a lot of stuff mentally, physically, emotionally, even financially. You should learn to speak up, learn to talk to people. Be reserved here and there, but when it comes to your mental health and the things that are bothering you a lot, you shouldn't be reserved about it. You should learn how to speak up and talk about it. I find it really relieving when you speak to people about your problems, people that really care about you. You notice that you feel a lot lighter, you feel a lot relieved when you talk to these people. So I had to start learning how to speak to people about my problems. If I do not, it tends to affect my mental health throughout the day or even throughout the week. I ensure that I have people around me that care about me, my friends that are really genuine and always open to speak to me. And I have people also in the medical line, be it students, doctors, house officers that I can go to and talk to them about my problems because they can relate to what I'm talking about, so they can advise me based on their own experiences on ways that helps them to alleviate whatever condition I'm complaining to them about. For your own mental health, you have to tackle hyper independence because it plays a huge role on your mental health when you do not have the capacity to speak to people. That's one of the habits I had to drop as a medical student. I am still independent, but like I said, I am no longer hyper independent. The next habit I had to drop was putting my self-worth on my grade. Before you come into med school, like there's a high chance that you've been really good in your secondary school, in your primary school, you've been a very good student. And coming into med school, sometimes you might be faced with some phases of failure that can be really daunting to your self-esteem and self-worth. So the thing I had to drop as a med student that helps me a lot with my mental health is I had to stop attaching my self-worth to my grades, because before, whenever I saw that I didn't perform well, maybe in a test or something, it tends to affect me as a person. I'll stop asking questions or answering questions in class because I feel like what I'm going to say is stupid, because that is how I've seen myself, that is where I've placed myself, because I just saw that I did not do so well in my last exam. So why should I trust myself with my answer? Why should I trust myself that what I'm going to be saying is the correct thing? Because like I said, I answered the other time and it was not correct. How am I sure that what I'm going to be answering now is correct? It shut me off entirely. Even when I'm asked exam questions, I do not have 100% confidence. I know the thing about not having confidence in your questions is you can see the right answer and you know it's the right answer. Because you don't have confidence in yourself, you now go ahead to choose the wrong one because you don't trust yourself. That can affect you throughout every single thing you're doing as a medical student, and most importantly your mental health. I had to stop attaching my self-worth to my grades because I am a lot more than my grades. One phase of failure does not mean that I'm stupid. One phase of failure does not mean that I'm not smart. I mean, If I wasn't smart, I wouldn't be here as a med student. That is one thing I had to stop doing. It's because I am a whole lot more compared to one or two phases of failure. I am a whole lot more compared to one or two phases of disappointment. So that is another thing I had to drop in order to stabilize my mental health as a med student. The next thing I had to drop is negative self talk. There's one thing that happens when you experience one or two phases of failure in med school. Your mind switches in such a way that if you do not control it, it becomes entirely negative. Even in other aspects of your life, if you're doing something, maybe you have other projects other than med school that you're doing, it tends to slip into other phases of your life. You begin to talk down on yourself, you begin to see yourself as a failure just because you did not pass a test too. Because you did not pass your test, you now see yourself like you are dumb in all aspects of your life. Even to tie your shoe, you be like, am I tying this thing correctly? Am I wise enough to tie this correctly? You see, negative self talk is something I really had to battle with for my mental health to be stable. And so I had to make sure that I fight these voices by reminding them of the amazing things that I did in the past, the amazing things that I'm doing now, that not everybody have the capability to do these things. I had to remind myself of the good things that I've achieved, the achievements I've achieved, because there's something about us as human beings. We tend to focus and magnify the negative side of things that are happening in our lives and forget the amazing things that are happening in our lives. So learning to count your blessings, learning to count your achievements will help to quench those voices in your head. You have to actively and consciously rule out the voices that are speaking to you negatively, because if you let them consume you, it's going to consume not just you but your mental health in general and your daily activities in general. So I had to fight those negative self-talk that brings about self-doubt and self-sabotage. I had to make them understand that yes, I'm a human being. I fail here and there, but that doesn't mean that I've not done amazing things. So please shut up. That is another habit I had to drop in order to stabilize my mental health. The next thing is I had to start setting realistic goals in order to prevent future disappointments. There's something about setting really ambiguous goals and not challenge, because most medical students are usually overachievers or really ambitious people. And there's something about overachievers and ambitious people, we are really, really prone to disappointment a lot of the times. When you're setting goals for yourself as a medical student, you need to set realistic goals that even if you don't achieve 100% of it, at least 60% is being achieved, and that will not cause you to be really, really disappointed and then affect you. So setting goals like 10 long topics in a day, come on, you're still a human being, you're not a machine. Even though this system treats us like one, that doesn't mean that you should treat yourself like a machine. You need to set realistic goals, and you also be flexible with your goals. Don't be too rigid with it to the point that if you do not achieve it, your whole mood for the day has been affected. I had to learn to set goals that are not ambiguous, but also set goals that are also flexible as well. To understand that yes, I said I was going to read this topic, I started it, but I did not finish it. But that is not the end of the world. I can complete it later when I'm less busy and I'm less tired. I can continue from where I stopped. So beating yourself up for setting really ambiguous goals, getting yourself disappointed, and then it affects your mood throughout the day or throughout the week because you couldn't achieve that goal. As long as it's not a do or die affair, there's still time for you to complete that goal. So I learned to stop being too rigid with my goals, really flexible with my goals, and set realistic goals for myself to reduce disappointment and then in turn reduce the rate of sadness and the negative effects it has on my mental health. And the next thing is I had to find out ways to boost my serotonin levels, because we all know that serotonin helps to alleviate stress, and stress is one of the things that affects our mental health as medical students. If you look at it, you notice that stress is the main thing that affects our mental health as medical students. So not getting enough sleep, not getting in a little bit of exercise here and there, not eating properly, not drinking enough water, I had to find ways to make sure that I boost my serotonin every now and then, even if it's for me to sacrifice going out on a Friday night to make sure that I get enough sleep for the weekend so that I'll be able to film and be happy. Or even this filming of YouTube videos, filming and editing and is generating ideas, I see it as fun and enjoyable. So it's one of the ways that I escape all the chaos of med school. When you see me editing, I'm in it. I'm enjoying it. Nothing is distracting me. I'm really enjoying it. It's just like how people are watching movies and they're enjoying themselves. I really enjoy filming and editing, so I had to incorporate that into my system as a med student, so you can find out, do you enjoy watching movies, do you enjoy eating this type of food, do you enjoy going out for a jog, a run, going out to receive the sun. Make sure you incorporate things that will help to boost your serotonin level in order to reduce stress and also alleviate your mood, which in turn will have a positive effect on your mental health. Anything that boosts your mood, you shouldn't be moody all the time, even during the stressful period of exams. Look for things that alleviate it. You enjoy this type of snacks, buy yourself that snack every now and then. By the time you're eating it, your mood is alleviated, your stress is reduced, then you go back to your reading. Anything that will help to boost your mood, lift up the serotonin level, make sure you incorporate it into your day-to-day activity, your weekly activity, monthly activity as a med student, because you need these spikes of dopamine rush, serotonin rush every now and then to help alleviate stress, which in turn will have a positive effect on your mental health. If you're a med student or an aspiring medical student, or you're in the healthcare sector, then go ahead and subscribe and turn on your post notification bells, because in my next video I will share with you the 7 sins of med school that you need to avoid in order to make sure that you have a smooth and enjoyable journey throughout your medical career. Go ahead and check out this video right here, where I give you study tips that you need to have as a medical student, especially in Nigeria, to make your studies as easy as possible. And I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Until then, stay happy and stay blessed. Bye.